From dust to light. Emma wakes up every morning before the sun. She puts water to boil. She packs her children's lunch. Then she sits for a minute. She stares at the wall in silence for a while. She ties her scarf tight. She checks her old shoes. Then she heads to the street. The sky is still dark as she walks to the bus. Her steps are quiet and heavy. Her bag is full of cleaning things. Her thoughts full of worry. No one on the bus says a word to her. They scroll their phones or look away. She holds the handle and stands still, her mind already tired. She gets off in front of a tall white house. The gate is closed and the camera watches. She rings the bell with care. She waits and looks down. The maid opens the door and walks away. Emma walks in with soft steps. She nods at the lady inside and begins her daily work. She dusts the books and folds the clothes. She washes the cups without a sound. She picks up toys off the marble floor. Then she moves upstairs. No one speaks to her unless they need her. Sometimes they forget she's there. She hears their secrets by accident. She forgets none of them. She knows what kind of tea they drink at night, which child cries when left alone, what shows they watch and who they lie to, and how they speak to help. She sees the cracks in the rich white walls, the broken hugs between two parents, the loneliness in the eyes of kids. But she never tells a soul. She moves like a shadow from room to room. She works with hands that do not rest. Her body aches, but her mouth stays closed, because words are dangerous. Sometimes she is called kind by guests. Sometimes she is ignored like old chairs. Sometimes she is blamed for small things, but she always says sorry. At home, she is a mother of 4. A woman with dreams buried under bills, a wife to a man who drinks too much, a soul that still hopes in secret. She returns late with pain in her feet. She puts bread on the table without a word. Her children eat and laugh a little, and she watches them with love. Her husband asks if she found more work. She nods and avoids his eyes. He says nothing more, then falls asleep in his chair. She cleans again, this time her own home. She picks up toys and washes plates. Then she sits alone in the kitchen staring at the floor. The next day she goes to a different house, one with glass doors and flowers outside. She has worked there for months in peace, until something happens. The lady of the house says a ring is gone, a gold ring with a blue stone. She asks Emma if she saw it, and Emma shakes her head. There are no cameras, there are no signs, but the lady keeps asking again and again, then calls her husband, who looks at Emma coldly. They say she must leave until it's found. They say they are not accusing, just being careful. But Emma already knows what they believe. She walks out slowly with her bag in hand, her heart pounding louder than her steps, her face burning from shame and pain, her tears held tight. She gets home and tells no one the truth. She says the job ended early today. Her kids do not ask more, but her husband frowns. He says maybe she did something wrong. Maybe she forgot to check her bag. Maybe she made a mistake and didn't know. Maybe they were right. Emma does not reply. She goes to the small room. She closes the door. She presses her face into the pillow, and she cries where no one can hear. The next morning, Emma wakes up early, her eyes still red from the night. She forces herself to stand up straight, and she starts the same routine. She makes tea and toasts dry bread. She wakes her youngest with a kiss. She braids her daughter's curly hair, then packs lunch in small bags. Her body feels heavy like a stone, but her hands move like every day. Her heart is full of silent pain, but her lips stay quiet. She puts on her scarf and shoes. She grabs her old cleaning bag. She steps outside without a word and walks to catch the morning bus. She knows the city better than most. Every street and every stop, every building where she cleaned, every face that forgot her name. Today, she goes to a house nearby where an old couple lives alone. They welcome her with quiet smiles and give her work with calm voices. They do not talk much, but they're kind. They leave her tea and a small treat. They never ask too many things and never speak with raised voices. Emma feels safe here for a while. She hums softly as she cleans. She washes curtains with care and sweeps the floor with calm hands. But even peace is not forever. Her phone buzzes in her bag. She reads the message with tired eyes, and her heart sinks deep again. Another house cancels her work. The woman says she heard the story. She says it's better to be safe and wishes her good luck ahead. One job gone becomes 3 soon. The whisper moves from house to house. Her name becomes a quiet warning, and doors begin to close. Emma does not scream or fight. She simply sits on a bench outside, her hands still holding her phone, her face pale like winter skies. At night, her husband gets upset. He asks why she lost the work. He throws a glass across the wall and says she brings shame again. She stands in the kitchen holding her breath. She wants to shout or run or cry, but instead she picks up the broken glass and sweeps it into a pan. She tells herself to be stronger now. She tells herself she must survive. She thinks about her little kids and the lunch they need each day. That night she does not sleep at all. She sits near the window alone, her hands tight around her knees, her eyes watching empty streets. In the morning she calls an old friend, a woman named Sarah from her past, someone who cleaned houses too, but stopped some years ago. Sarah listens with a soft voice. She says she heard the ugly story. She says people are fast to blame and slow to ask real questions. Emma says she wants to work again, not to return to those cold homes, but to clean with her own rules and protect her own name. Sarah says, "Then let's try together." She says, "We'll start with just one room." And they meet at a small old shop with cracked walls and dusty shelves. They clean it together for many days. They scrub the windows till they shine. They paint the walls a soft light blue. They buy cheap but strong tools. They print small cards with their names and hand them to trusted people. They promise honest, quiet work, and they smile with gentle hope. Weeks pass and one job comes. Then 2 more from kind neighbors. Then a small office calls them too and gives them a weekly task. They hire a young girl from the area who also lost work for no reason. They teach her how to clean with love and speak with calm and pride. Emma starts smiling more each day. Her back still hurts, but her soul is light. Her kids notice her laughter again and sit beside her to talk. She tells her daughter about dreams, about studying and building a future, about not letting shame win, about walking proud, even with little. Her husband watches from the side. He sees the light returning slowly. He doesn't speak much anymore, and sometimes leaves early to walk. Emma no longer asks for his help. She finds her power in her hands, in her voice and in her name, in her story that keeps growing. One day she passes the house again, the one with the missing ring. She stands across the street and stares, for a moment that feels long. She remembers the face of the woman, the cold tone and sharp words, the way her heart broke that day, the way no one believed her. She turns and walks away proud. She does not need to enter again. She has cleaned her name with her work and found something much better. That night she sleeps without fear, her hands still calloused and tired, but her mind calm and her heart full, and her story still being written. The small cleaning team is growing fast. More homes are calling every week. People talk about Emma's name and say her work is full of care. She walks with pride down her own street. Children wave as she walks past. Neighbors smile and nod at her and greet her with honest words. She is not rich in gold or land, but rich in trust and gentle peace. She owns her tools and her time, and that makes her feel alive. Sarah says the plan is working. She says they will hire one more soon. They laugh over tea in the shop while writing names in a notebook. Emma goes home after sunset now, her body still tired but soul warm. She cooks dinner with her daughter. They talk about small, happy things. Her youngest son helps clean the floor. Her older boy fixes a broken chair. Her house is still poor and old, but love fills every corner inside. She puts her phone on the table and shows her kids their school pictures. She says, "You are my light always," and kisses their foreheads softly. Each night she thanks the silent sky for work and bread and health today, for friends who stayed and helped her, and for the peace she feels again. But peace is not always quiet. Some days are hard and full of weight. Not all clients are kind or fair, and not all stories end in smiles. One morning a woman shouts loud, says the floor was not clean enough, slams the door in Emma's face, and throws her tools on the ground. Emma picks them up in silence, her hands shaking from deep shame. She walks away without one word. But inside her chest, something burns. Sarah finds her crying alone. They sit behind the little shop. Sarah says, "You are not their dust," and Emma nods with tired eyes. They make a new rule the next day. No work where respect is gone. No job is worth breaking your soul. No money is worth losing your name. They add this line to every card: "We clean with care and human heart." Clients who agree are welcomed. Others are left behind in silence. The word spreads across the city about Emma and her brave path. Young girls come asking for work, wanting to learn and be safe. Emma becomes more than a cleaner. She becomes a teacher and guide. She shares her pain and her fight, and her story becomes their light. One girl named Clara works hard. She lost her mom a year ago. She lives with an aunt and baby brother, and cleans to keep school going. Emma sees herself in Clara's eyes, the quiet strength and hidden tears. She teaches her how to smile with calm and hold pride in every job. They clean together in a hotel room, folding sheets and wiping mirrors. They laugh about small mistakes and talk about dreams between breaks. Emma says, "You are not small." She says, "Your story is still long." And Clara hugs her with soft arms and calls her mama without fear. Back home, things slowly change. Her husband drinks less and speaks less. He watches Emma from a corner, but no longer lifts his voice. One day he says he wants to work. He says he's tired of doing nothing. He offers to fix broken pipes or carry things for the team. Emma listens without reply, but later tells Sarah what he said. Sarah shrugs and simply smiles. She says, "People change when light comes." They give him small tasks each week. He works with quiet eyes and hands. He does not shout or walk away, and starts to come home on time. Emma doesn't dream of big things, not cars or jewels or giant homes. She dreams of safe, slow mornings, with warm bread and peace inside. She dreams of her children learning, becoming strong and kind adults, not carrying her pain in their hearts, but using her story as a map. One evening she reads a letter from a woman in a far city who heard about Emma's small team and wants to bring them to speak. Emma is shocked and full of fear. She never stood before a crowd, but her children say, "Go, Mama," and hold her hands tight with love. She travels with Sarah and Clara. They sit on the train with wide eyes. They see buildings and lights and streets. They feel like they stepped in a dream. The hall is small but full of faces, all women from many places, some with tears and some with smiles, all waiting for Emma to speak. She stands up with shaking hands, but her voice is calm and slow. She says, "I was once invisible," and the room becomes silent and still. She shares her story from the start, from the morning bus to the false blame, from the broken heart to the shop, from the loss to the new life. When she finishes, they all clap, not with noise but with full hearts. They stand and hug her one by one and thank her for her voice. Later she sits alone outside, watching the stars above the city. She smiles and breathes in the air and whispers, "I am seen at last." The trip ends, but her light stays. More people call the little shop. Her team now cleans with respect and grows with kindness each day. Emma no longer walks with shame. She walks with deep, proud steps. And every girl that joins her path walks taller in her light. The shop gets busy every day. More phones ring with new clients. Some people ask for Emma only. Some ask for the young girls, too. They wear clean shirts with names, carry new mops and tools inside. They move with care and quiet steps, and always leave a fresh smell. Clients leave notes on the door. saying thank you for your work. They leave bread or tea outside and wave from the windows above. Emma keeps a notebook safe, with all names and work details. She adds stars beside good homes and small dots beside the rude ones. The small team now has a rhythm. They split the work with clear plans. Clara leads the morning team, and Emma checks the final jobs. Sarah handles messages fast. She knows who pays and who lies. She calls each girl at the end to hear about their day and mood. Sometimes they gather in silence. Sometimes they sing while cleaning. Sometimes they cry in a corner and hug each other with care. Each girl has her story deep. Some lost family or dreams. Some ran from old towns with pain. But here they find soft ground again. One day they get a big call. A hotel wants a 3-day job. Emma feels nervous and unsure, but says yes with calm courage. They take the train early next week. They carry bags and food together. They reach the hotel before light and start work with full hearts. They clean floors and big rooms. They polish glass and heavy doors. They work in pairs and share jokes. They take short breaks and smile. The manager comes to check. He watches them with curious eyes. He says, "Your team works like gold," and offers them more work later. That evening they sit by the sea, with bread and tea and warm shawls. They talk about dreams again, and about what they want to build. Emma says she wants a space, not just a shop, but a center, a place to teach and guide more girls, and give them safe work and light. Clara says she wants to study, to learn business and maybe teach. She says she wants to help her brother, and one day buy her own house. Sarah smiles and looks ahead. She says, "I want less pain inside." And they all sit quiet for a while, letting the waves speak for them. When they return the next day, Emma finds a letter in the door from a lawyer in the city asking for a meeting soon. She thinks something is wrong. She fears it is bad news again. But Sarah reads it out loud, and her hands begin to shake. The letter says something clear. A woman left Emma her house, not big or new, but real land, because Emma once cleaned her room. She said Emma's words stayed deep. Her silence spoke of true grace. She said, "This woman gave me peace and wanted to give her more." They visit the place next week, a small house with quiet trees, old paint and broken tiles, but walls strong.